if I had my druthers, if I had a magic language wand, the word I would get rid of is decouple. We were never in a couple with the Chinese economy. It was always fundamentally parasitic. If it benefited the Chinese, they would come in and they would, like a parasite, latch on and suck out intellectual property, capital, manufacturing, and weaken the host, which is us, right? And there's a very specific parasite, the castrator barnacle, which latches on to crabs and gets into the bloodstream and gets so much control it can remote control it and castrate it in the process. It's a very visual image, but it's very much what the Chinese economic engagement into the United States and other major Western economies was designed to do, to weaken it, remote control it, make it impotent, and suck out everything that it needed to survive while weakening the host. So it's not decoupling. It was never an equal relationship.
I love that. If you have this parasitic relationship, what is the ivermectin? What do we have out there that we can give a jolt of and actually start to kill the parasite?
It goes back to what you were saying before, which is these are criminal organizations. And so if you actually use transparency, accountability, rule of law, and you go after that criminal element, you can weaken it in a substantial way. The Chinese will come in with a commercial front. So they'll say, it's just chips. We just want some trade. There's always this strategic underpinning to it. But then there's a bribery component. Who have they paid off to advance the agenda of getting those chips? The chips that they need for their strategic advantage for their military, but which they're saying is just commercial. You go after, of those three, the weakest element is the criminal component. You have to go after them. You have to start throwing people in jail. You have to start, when I see the interview with Jensen, I long for Cold War 1.0 when you could have Rocky punch a Soviet in the face in a movie and everybody would cheer. Why can't we punch Chinese bad guys in the face in a movie and cheer? Because they've got so much control over the narrative. So once we can start to say, look, this is a criminal organization that has the strategic intent of destroying the United States from the inside, and we've got to fight back. And our tools are the strengths that the U.S. embodies, this incredible system that has inspired so many people around the world. We need to decorrupt ourselves, not just the U.S., but all of the other ones that have been corrupted by it. And you can do it through things like exposing the wealth of the leadership of the Chinese Communist Party, seizing their assets, revoking visas of relatives, doing all the things that the United States claims it is as a country and stands for internationally, and re-give hope that the good guys are the good guys for a reason and they can win by being good.
We have a couple of really defense intellectuals, very smart people, national security experts in our various engine rooms, and one of them particularly says, you must drive a wedge between Lao Beijing and the CCP leadership. The way to do that is talk about their wealth. Rubio got this passed a couple of years ago because Rubio is a China hawk in this regard. However, nothing's really happened. And one of the reasons I posit, like to have your thoughts, is that when you talk about the immense wealth, because they're the wealthiest people on earth, they're wealthier than the Gulf Emirates, right? These are the wealthiest families, the 5 or 6 families that fight for control of the Chinese Communist Party all the time. And the reason that we've had a tough time exposing it is that it also exposes the American capitalist, which Lenin said, will sell us the rope on which we'll hang them. You would actually expose here the companies and how they actually accumulated this wealth was with the help of the lords of easy money on Wall Street, Silicon Valley, and the corporatists that are here, Cleo Pascal.
Yeah, we're actually giving them the money to build the factories, to build the rope to hang us with. Like, it's gotten so much worse, the way that they've gotten into our systems and are using it to their advantage to go after us. And you really do. Deparasiting isn't fun. You have to go through a purging process that where a lot of the bad stuff comes out of the system. But that's really what it's going to take, because it's become so intertwined with the leadership, and it's all over. You talk about it very eloquently. In terms of the education system and all that sort of stuff, but also in terms of, and just to go back to the Pacific map, the U.S.'s vision of itself, the idea that the U.S. defending American citizens across the Pacific in Guam and CNMI is somehow expansionist is just wrong. This is part of what the U.S. is, and they're getting into our heads in all sorts of different ways. Like, for example, if you say fentanyl is just revenge for the opium wars, you're giving the Chinese the excuses to exhibit bad behavior. That's not factually correct. So, as you know, I'm very strongly against letting the Chinese create the narrative. They do it through TikTok. They do it through social media.